Hi everyone, so today's video is an update of what's happening with the court. So after many emails and phone calls back and forth, today I was able to submit all my documents. Thank you to the wonderful staff that heard me and did the best that they can do. So yeah, all my documents were finally filed today after a few days of delay, and that now I'm going for my default judgment, which is scheduled for December 21st. Virtually it was supposed to be at 10 o'clock, but for some reason they moved it earlier to 9 o'clock in the morning. I did contact the court asking why it was earlier. They said that I'm supposed to be heard by the senior judge for the Brampton region. So let's see what happens, because I did meet him a couple of times in the triage court, so he knows a little bit about my case, but I'm not sure if he read like the whole document and the content of my file and the reasons for the lawsuit and stuff, and all the rules and procedures that goes along with it. So yeah, so basically this is my second time going in for a default judgment. The first time, obviously, it did not go through properly. The presiding judge violated every law, every civil law, to grant a set aside, which was about a month and a half ago. And then now the defendant wants to bring out various different motions, especially the defendant said that he wanted to strike out the whole claim, means he wants to dismiss or cancel my entire claim, and then he wants to bring a motion for that, which was the reason to grant the set aside. But now, instead of scheduling his motion to cancel or dismiss or strike, or whatever terms you want to use, he wants to transfer the motion to a different court, violating every civil procedure there is, and that he wants to delay the proceedings longer, which also violates the set aside motion order that said that he needs to bring this within timely manner. Also, even though he's told during the court hearing that he wants to transfer the proceedings, he did not bring a motion to transfer. He did send an email to the Toronto court senior judge saying that he wants to transfer the motion, which actually violates the provincial practice direction for transferring motion. So even if that was granted, I know that that will be appealed, because he did not file any motion record. It was just a letter that was sent out. There's no law, civil law, anything that states that he's entitled to do that. If anything, it breaks every single law, and even if that was granted, it will be appealed, and if most likely after notice appeal court, it might even go to like Supreme Court, because that just breaks every law there is. So given that and that the fact that he's not actually looking to schedule any motion to strike out his claim, with all that fact that I've already updated my motion record for default judgment and included all of that information, which has been filed with the court today, and it is waiting to be heard by the senior judge on the 21st. And I'm actually really looking to see how that turns out, because how many more loopholes and the laws that the courthouse and the judges are going to continue to break in order to refrain people from getting justice, which really is the opposite of what a Ontario Court of Justice is supposed to be. And also that's basically it. That I'm really looking forward to it. I know I followed every law, every rule, everything there is. I've done everything properly. It is supposed to be a jury trial if it does ever get to a trial, but I'm just hoping that it is around Christmas time. It's right before Christmas, like 4 days before Christmas. My birthday is on the 27th of December, so it's about a week before my birthday. Not that they care, but I'm just hoping that they're in a festive mood and that they don't want to violate ridiculous amount of law, and that they just do what's right. And then if the defendant has any issues, like if the defendant wants to bring us set aside again, if the defendant's request for transfer is granted, they can choose to do whatever they want. They can go to the if the transfer is granted, they can go to the other court and request a set aside. The defendant has the right to do whatever they want, but it will be extremely improper, highly inappropriate, and violation of every law there is if the court of justice basically violates my rights in order to give the defendant, the people that abused me, whatever they want. And even though they are not filing the paperwork properly, it will be highly inappropriate that if they are given the order that they want while I'm doing everything properly and I'm not given anything, which will be considered a violation of rights. And I will be forced to file a lawsuit and seeking reimbursement for my entire claim, because what is being done is extremely improper, and I will be forced to keep notifying everybody about everything, about every details and everything that is happening on the case. So just keeping my fingers crossed that hopefully they are in a good mood. I don't know whatever mood they need to be in order for them to do what's right, but I'm hoping that they're in that mood, and that it is even not their money that they're trying to make an order for. So I'm just hoping that they do what's right and that we can move forward with this. We can move forward with our life instead of being stuck for years and after years. Also, it's important to note that the defendant, he's trying to take the case in another court where they have no availability for trials and motions and so on, and they have extra steps that you have to take that will cost few $100s extra. I mean, I understand the defendant's lawyer is making money from his employer, but I'm not in the position to just pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars and then just delay after delay after delay for years after years after years. So it's very improper, and that again, that actually violates every civil law there is regarding transfer of motions under Rule 13. And also the fact that he did not bring any motion, just simply sent a letter that violates every practice direction there is, provincial practice direction for transfer. This whole letter is just screams for appeal if it was even ever granted. But even before an order is even made, it may even take 3 months, 6 months, 1 week, 2 days, 3 years, who knows, however long for an order to be granted. There's no set timeline for when it will be granted. So it is just like, first of all, you don't know first if the order will be granted, second, if it was granted, when it will take place, now or 10 years down the road. And number 3, even if it was granted, it will be appealed because every law was broken, and that will delay the proceedings, and that actually violates the set aside motion order that said that a strikeout motion needs to be brought in within timely manner, again, which is what the defendant failed to do. So I'm just waiting to see how things plays out in court. I'm hoping that the justice system decides to do what's right for once, and they go to court instead of bullying and trying to humiliate. They actually just just do the job and get out kind of situations. Like, okay, here, I read your motion record, this is what you can get, here's an order endorsement, get your order signed, get going with your life. I don't want to see you anymore. So I'm hoping that just happens, and that that's the end of it. but I'll keep everybody informed about how it plays out. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on social media. I'm gonna say, I'm not ashamed to admit when I'm wrong. So if I do make a mistake, if anything that I'm saying is wrong right now, I will come here. I'll make a separate video just apologizing that I may have said bad things about a certain people that I shouldn't have, and that I take fully responsible for that, and I take responsibility for my actions. But until for my last 7 years of experience with these people, until I am proven that these people are actually doing what's right and not bullying and harassing and just intentionally not trying to cause harm, until that is being proven, I stand by what I'm saying, that this is a really bad environment. These people needs to take responsibility for how they treat other people, and that and I'm hoping that on December 21st somebody proves me wrong, and that we can move on from all of this, or the beginning of moving on one by one. Because once one person does something wrong, I think everybody feels encouraged to repeat the same thing, to make one wrong, and then they do like 10 different wrongs to justify one wrong. So I'm hoping that one person does one thing right, so that the next everybody else that follows in their footsteps, they feel encouraged that, okay, what, we feel encouraged to do what's right, and just move on with our lives. But yep, let's see how things work out. These people are more knowledgeable, more experienced. So, and I'm just been studying law for the last couple of years. So let's see who does right and who does wrong. Right? Peace.